You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co-host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad-to-be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together. Welcome to Dad Crossing's Dad Life. Sean, when we were wee tots, there was no Facebook, there was no iPhone, there was no cell phone. Well, there probably was, but it wasn't a suitcase, and it was the size of your, whole self.
Your house.
Your house, yeah, exactly. There was a console, and it was called the SNES, and it was 16 bits, and it only went side to side. Oh, no, that's 8 bits. 8 bits.
That was the NES was 8-bit.
Yeah, 8-bit. Sorry, my bad. The NES, and it was 8 bits. Yeah, my bad.
I mean, prior to that, there was we had the Atari. I had one of those.
I did not.
That was before the NES. Wow.
No.
Yeah. Tape deck.
Yeah. I did not have an Atari. NES was the first thing I ever owned in the gaming world. I mean, my mother owned it, but whatever. She gave it to me. Let's see. What else was there not, Sean? What else was there? What else do our kids have to deal with that we or have now that we don't?
Just internet that doesn't scream at you.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that's for sure. Was there internet? Wait, I mean, let me ask the question: when did internet come to households? I know there was internet in some primitive form, or governments had it. Let's see. When did? Wasn't it the mid-90s?
I don't know, but I can't spell.
Let's see. We're going to find out in a hot second here. So apparently residential households had the ability to get it in the late 1980s, but it didn't really take off until mid-90s, is what they say. In the 80s, internet was used almost entirely, limited to universities, government, and research institutions. In 1990, a few early dial-up services, Prodigy, CompuServe, AOL. And then in 1991, the World Wide Web was introduced publicly, making the internet more accessible and user-friendly. There you go.
Yeah, 2019 report showed that in the UK alone, internet household penetration grew from 9% to 93%. So 9% in 1998 to 93% by 2019. So.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, wow, yeah. If we didn't have I can remember the internet. I can remember being shocked by the internet as a kid.
Yeah.
We had MSN because we didn't have cell phones that could text each other and stuff. Or I wasn't allowed one, so I had to use MSN. So I'd get home from school and log onto the family computer. Hope my mum wasn't trying to ring grandma because if she was, she'd just get a squealing noise in her ear because I was online.
Yeah. I mean, we had TV, but it's so different, right? It was much more, I feel like our TV was much more of a family-friendly kind of thing, right? You all had to come to a place at a certain time to watch the show you wanted to watch. That was your only chance unless you wanted to watch it 8 months later on rerun. And so it was you had to be there at 8 if you wanted to see that show that the whole family wanted to show or wanted to see. And now it's just it's all just streaming.
See, this is a UK thing. So a lot of people in the UK, I can remember when we got Channel 5. We only had 4 channels. We had BBC 1 and 2, ITV, and Channel 4. I can remember when we got Channel 5. And that was
was this antenna?
A big thing. We had
was this antenna stuff or what was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We did Sky TV or cable in that sense and satellite TV didn't really hit here until quite late on, or at least for me anyway.
Really?
In our house.
I did.
I can remember going to my. I can remember going to my auntie's and she was like, "Oh, we just got Sky TV. Look at all these channels," and like flicking through them, and it's like snow, 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 snow. Oh, this one's got a picture.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was trying to
but yeah,
remember.
like Logan said to me the other day, he's like, "I hate ads." He was playing a game. He plays this game called Melon Sandbox on his iPad. He's like, "I hate it because I'll be doing something really cool, and then also I'll get an ad, and I have to wait so I can skip it." And I literally said to him, we had ads, like we had to watch every 15 minutes. There was like 5 minutes of ads, and the way we knew that it was coming up is like the little black and white square in the corner would start to flicker, because we knew that was when it was going for an ad break.
We didn't have a black and white square. Like, that doesn't ring a bell to me. It was always just kind of like, and I mean, remember, like, you would be watching the show you wanted and you had to pee or whatever you wanted to do. And it was like,
To wait.
yeah. And it was like the commercials and you're like, I gotta go. And I mean, listen, I don't know. Maybe I did not grow up in a 2-bathroom household. So it was like somebody went to the bathroom and you were like, hurry up. We only got like 4 minutes. Get it done. I gotta go pee too. And I don't want to miss this.
Just go out in the ad.
Right? Yeah. Like, it was like, man, you want a drink? You want that stuff? You do it in the advertisement. Hurry up. It's just so crazy.
So back when we had like terrestrial TV, which is like with the antennas and stuff like that, the national grid in the UK, and it's a bit of a tangent, but it's just like I work in that sector. The national grid in the UK, which are the people that kind of like supply the power to everywhere. They buy it from the power stations that will make it, and then they supply it across the grid. That was Rex, by the way. He's excited because I move my arms. So they could guarantee that. I'm trying to think now what time it was. Like they could guarantee for like tea time peak, when people were watching like Neighbours, which was that it was a Australian show. It's like that was on in the UK quite a lot, and then Emmerdale, EastEnders, and Coronation Street. They could guarantee that there would be a massive frequency change and a jump in demand at like 1/4 the hour while those shows are on, because people would get up and turn the kettle on to go make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee for them to then have in the second half of the show they were watching.
Sure.
So they used to manage the grid based on those events.
That's crazy. But I mean, it makes sense. So, like, yeah, TV looks completely different. I feel like, and then I think, like, and we've mentioned it, but just like cell phones, but specifically texting and social media and all that and all those things. Like,
I can remember my first cell phone as a kid. I was 14 years old, and it's because I was walking to school. So my mom and dad got me a cell phone, and it was a Sagem, and it had like I'd say it's as big as an iPhone is now. If you were to hold like the iPhone like 17 in your hand for height, it was as big as that, not as wide, twice as thick. It had this keypad with the touch dial kind of thing. So, like, I mean, I could text with my eyes closed at one point as a kid, because you kind of knew that if you had to hit, like, if you had to put an E, you had to like hit 3 so many times, and then you'd have to, that kind of thing. And it just had a single bar. So like, and that was it. There was no like screen and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I was earning my own money, or close to it, I think it was like the end of high school, that my parents got me a Nokia 5110 where I could play Snake.
Okay, was that like a flip phone?
No, that was still a brick of a phone.
Oh, okay.
But it had a square, more of a square screen.
Was it like yay big? Like
yeah, with a stick-up antenna.
Yeah. I know the version you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't until I was like 17, 18 years old that like I got my first flip phone kind of thing that wasn't as big as a thing. And then it went from flip phones to those like phones that you'd slide up to answer.
Yep. Kids still have one that Becca had way back when they play with. It's a purple slide up phone that she has that shows the keyboard. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
It's a relic.
Yeah, for sure. So I skipped the whole brick cell phone thing. Like, one, my mother was for sure that I'd get brain cancer. Anybody that used a cell phone was going to get brain cancer. That was like, I mean, no joke. Like, when I got to the age where I could purchase a phone, she was like, "You want to purchase a phone? That's fine. You can do that. You can get brain cancer if you want to get brain cancer. I don't care. You do what you want to do. You're an adult now." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to get brain cancer." And so I didn't have a phone until, man, 1920, something like that. And my first one was I think it was a Nokia flip phone.
1920?
19 or 20 years old.
I was going to say back in 1920 when phones
That's
were
right, yeah.
you time traveling.
Yeah. That's where I introduced them. I went back there and showed somebody, and then they made millions.
Yeah.
Should have been there. No, when I was 19 or 20 years old, I was in college, and I remember calling my mom on it, and I was like, "I got a phone." She's like, "Oh, you're getting brain cancer. Great, glad you made that choice for yourself." Now she's like always like flipping through Facebook videos. It's just really funny for me to think about like that particular part of my life with her.
But just it's we take it all for granted so much, and I think Jaya grew up at the back end of that, just as like the first iPhones and the first iPods were coming. Jaya grew it kind of was around for that. Like Emily was iPads were a thing. They were there in the household kind of stuff. Not everybody had one. They weren't as readily available and they were more expensive. But like Logan had he's operated an iPad from 2 years old. It's just, he knows how to do things. I think to a level it gets them ready. But I don't know how it would have been for us as kids. I know I spent more time outside, that's for sure, because we didn't have the distractions at home, the comforts. So, and if I got home from school and I wanted to watch TV, my mom was like, "No, I'm watching Neighbours, and then I'm going to watch this, and then I'm watching this. You can watch our programs later." And it's like, well, my programs aren't on later, so I'll just go and dig holes.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't want to make this into a social media episode, but like that's the big thing when I think of, man, growing up and having your parents on social media doing the thing, right? Like posting like, "Oh, look, Noah lost a tooth. Look, this happened. Look, that and it's like, I don't know. It would have been so weird to grow up with that in that era with that thing. You were so much more, I know alone's not the right word, but like when you got home, you were disconnected, right, from the rest of the world. There was like, I mean, other than like turning on the TV and watching evening news or whatever, it was just, you were disconnected.
I can remember, and I know it's not a subject that we like to bring up, but I can remember when the Twin Towers attack happened. I was out. I was delivering the evening newspapers. I was walking around, and like I didn't have a phone. I had like a tiny little MP3 Walkman at the time, and I had that in as I was delivering the papers. And somebody came out. I can remember posting the newspaper through, and they came out of the house, grabbed me, and pulled me in, and said, "You need to see this. This is history in the making," and like stood me in front of these things. And I was like, looking at it at first, and I was like this is a really, really cool looking movie. It's like, what's going on here? It's like an action movie. And then like I kind of twigged that there was the news banner across the bottom, and I was like, oh crap. But now if like we had literally in the UK the other day, we had a terrorist attack on a synagogue.
Yeah.
And people knew that because of TikTok and Facebook. Like it was there, it was in their hand instantaneous. Like you get a notification, open it up, I can see the news right there, right then, boom, and that was it. Like you said, we had to wait for the evening news and stuff like that.
Yeah, you didn't know about that stuff right then. And it's just like, I mean, another thing that I think parents, this is a conversation that, or people, we don't like to here's another thing we don't like to talk about, but it's really serious. I read an article about how like this is a real problem. So like when the assassination of Charlie Kirk, however you felt about him one way or another, happened, the news sources where we as like adults now are used to getting our news from on usually on the regular, they made sure that they did what by law they have to do. They only showed up to a certain point, and that was what you saw, and you didn't see anything else, even though there was a whole lot of video of it. They did what by law they had to do, so they didn't get in trouble. But like, I was reading this article from this mom that was like, he called she or her son called her and was like, did you hear what happened? Did you see what happened? And she's like, yeah, I saw it happen. And it was like, that dude got assassinated. And she's like, no, because we didn't know at that time. She was like, no, he's been shot. We don't really know anything. He's like, no, 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 no. Did you see how that bullet went straight through him? And it was like, you know, our kids who are on TikTok and X and all those things, the people who posted those videos, I think most of them got taken down, but they don't get taken down right away, and a lot of them get saved
No,
and,
it's
and moved and kept. And it's like, this dude saw her son saw some guy get killed. Like yes, the assassination's bad, but it's like, and it's the governments are all like, listen, don't show it, but it's like the technology now, you can't control
yeah.
the other side of that.
There, and there have been so many people like on TikTok Live, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, X Live that was showing that at the time, which it's then logged. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you say, it's so hard to go through and remove 1,000 different versions of the same video from
Yeah.
different angles because and yeah,
Yeah.
it's that readily available, and it scares the living crap out of me big time because I don't know like now when Emily's in her room, I know she's playing skate and talking to a boyfriend at the same time. But it's limiting what she can and can't see. And now a lot of mobile companies are doing some really good work in terms of like when they sell SIM plans that are tailored for children so they
Mm-hmm.
can't access mature content at all of any way, shape, or form, and they restrict like social media and stuff like that through the actual phone plan. So it doesn't matter where they are and what they're doing, they can't physically access it because their mobile contract won't allow them. So, which is better than what we had when we were younger, because like I remember my first SIM contract was with O2, and I think I paid £10 a week. Was it £10 a week or £10 a month? I think I paid £10 a month, and I got like so many free texts and so many free
Mm-hmm.
minutes, and that was it. That was my plan. I was like no data because I never had to use it because there was nothing you could scroll through social media. You'd literally, you know, you were allowed so many free texts. You had to pay for your for your
Mm-hmm.
messages if you were to try and send somebody a funny picture of a cat doing something stupid.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's so
but
funny to think about that. Like, you only had so many text messages you could send, and like you said, and the part I love the most is if you wanted to know how many text messages you had sent at that time, you had to text this like 4-digit number, of which would charge you one of your texts to send it, and they would charge you one to send you back the information too. It was, I mean,
yeah,
oh my gosh, what a wild west at the time of like the beginning of cell phones. The best.
it is. I mean, now it is great. I like a smartphone is a fantastic tool. I
Sure.
use it while I'm at work for like if I'm having to convert measurements and stuff. I use it for taking pictures of like faults that I find, so then I can upload them, so it makes the repairs a lot easier. If I'm sat in like a meeting and I want to listen to the questions that people have asked, I will set things recorded, so I can listen to it. I've I've used my phone to record my voice while I was learning safety rules. So like recorded myself reading it so I could listen back to it. That was all done on the smartphone. And then there's the whole like dad life side of stuff. You're ferrying kids around and you kind of waiting at rehearsals or sports things or where like you waiting on appointments and bits and pieces like that. You can just open the phone, you can flick through, you can read stuff. I can message you and you're in a different country and it costs me nothing because we're using Discord. Um, Play games. Like me and Logan was sat for like an hour earlier, laid on the bed. Kind of, he was laid on my shoulder, just flicking through funny cat videos on TikTok with him, just
Mm.
giggling away.
Mhm.
We killed an hour, and it was like Lindsay came in. She was in the bathroom. Lindsay came in. She was like, "Have you made the tea yet?" And I was like, "No, but we've been having an awesome cuddle."
Yeah. Watching lots of awesome cat videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess there's also the whole like smart assistant thing, right? Like with our
Yes.
A friend over here. Um like yeah, it's just a whole new world of being able. I mean, my kids are all the time. We did a whole episode about like funny things you can ask it to tell your kids, or your kids can ask and stuff like that. And so yeah, I'm to grow up in
Yeah.
an age where you can just be like, "Hey, so and so, tell me this." Like, I don't know. It just baffles me. But at the same time, as we talk about this, I think about how we just, as a society, are so good with rolling with the punches. I mean, sure,
Well,
it's go ahead.
it's our generation is. We are like the most versatile generation. I can't remember what
Probably, yeah.
generation when you want to go through X, Z, and
Mm-hmm.
Alpha, all that. Millennials. We are the most versatile one because we've had to deal with the technological changes constantly, and we are the ones that adapt the best
Mm-hmm.
in terms of. He's like I look at my grandparents and I know they struggle like mad. I look at my parents, and my dad is pretty tech savvy. My
Yeah.
mum is to a point, but then like I look at Lindsay's dad, and like he is asking me questions like, "How do I do this on my phone? How do I do that? How do you do this?" So it's really interesting. And then like I look back at Jaya, who can do more than what I could. I look at Emily, and she picks things up fast. And then I look at Logan, and Logan's teaching me things.
Mm.
Like it's like wow,
Mm-hmm.
such an interest. Like you said, it's such an interesting transition to go from dial-up broadband to high speed. You know, what's your rate at the moment? You're like
Yeah, I'm
gigabytes
a gig
a
up, a
second.
gig down.
I can remember when it was like 14 meg.
Oh yeah. If
If
I want to
that.
download a song, if I wanted to download a 3 meg song, it was like hit download and go play Nintendo for an hour and see if it's done.
Yeah.
And probably it
You,
crashed halfway through. And I'm like,
oh,
no, son of a gun.
oh, you got it, and like you're on LimeWire or on Napster, and you got it, and it was just completely not what you wanted at all. And you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
named it something else because you
Yep, yeah.
shareware.
Oh yeah, peer to peer. That's another thing that came. That kind of
Yeah.
came and went though before our kids. At least my kids all do it. That's not
Yeah.
really a thing anymore, but it was back in the time. I remember having downloaded so much and listening to like reading the news articles of like people being like fined hundreds of thousands of dollars and being like, oh crap, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be fined. It's gonna be the end of my life before it even began.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's just. I mean, we're talking about music piracy there. Don't do it. It's bad. Bad.
Bad. Don't sail
Um,
those seas.
but like, yeah. I mean, even if you were to look at like, I'm just looking around and I'm thinking, like, I'm looking. We got the Switch, which is you know bonkers. I remember having a Sega Game Gear. That thing ran off like nine double A batteries. It
Right.
weighed an absolute ton. Had no backlight, so I couldn't play it in the car when we were traveling at night. And the batteries lasted an hour. And like
Yeah.
we now have the Switch with a lithium-ion battery that'll last 6-7 hours. And it's lightweight and tiny. And it's like, looking at the TV, it's a flat screen. It's LED.
Yeah.
So I can remember with like backlit CRT monitors that even at 14 inches from corner to corner, if you drop that on you, you were dead. That was it. If you rock the TV stand and your TV fell on you as a kid, you knew you were dead.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Those big butt TVs were nothing to like. Those things were serious stuff. You are. I mean, we are the. It does seem at least that we are the most versatile generation. Maybe all of them are versatile in their own ways and what they do. But like, I mean, we were just handed AI what 3 years ago, basically 3 to 5 years ago, publicly. I mean, I'm sure it was out way before that, but kind of like the same thing with internet, given to the masses in large amounts 3 to 5 years ago, and yeah, we're already like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do this. This is amazing. Let's just adapt this right into our lives, and it's just
But I think it comes that we're very much because we had all the old school skills of how do we do this? How do we do that? Like there wasn't a YouTube video which showed us how to do a certain thing. We were like,
mm-hmm.
we had to faff our way through life. And so now we get handed something like ChatGPT or an AI or a home assistant that we have, and we mess around with them. We're like, what can we do with this? How far can we push it? What can I make? What can I get it to do? How much can I prove that it's wrong or right?
Yeah.
So we like to push things and break them and see what they can and can't do.
You know,
Where
on the dad side of things, I read an interesting. I think I'd be interested in your take on this. I was reading an interesting article about like not not giving something. I can't remember the title. The title was like catchy and made a lot of sense, but like YouTube taking away the sage era of like our manhood. So basically, like the young guns coming to us to be like coming to the older generation to be like, how do I do this thing, right? And learning,
yeah,
like he was telling the story. I think he's in like his 60s now, the author or something like that. I can't remember. And he was telling a story of like he wanted to learn to fly fish and he didn't know how to fly fish and he kind of was trying to read a book and he was out there not doing a great job of it, and there was somebody out on the stream with him that was doing it, and the guy saw him struggling and he came over and he was like, hey, are you what kind of fly are you using? What are you doing here? Like, what's your line? Like, how's your throw? What are you? And so he taught him. He allowed the older gentleman to be the sage to get that out of his life, and he learned something in his time. But now, like, YouTube has taken that away, right? Like, if I want to learn to fly fish, I'm going to go to YouTube, and YouTube will just tell me how to do it. And now with Chat GPT, you have that addition of it too, and I think that's an interesting take on
yeah,
like a negative side of these platforms.
it is. But there's also a lot to be said where I still learn a lot more by doing. If somebody shows me how to do something and then I sit down and do it with them, I learn a lot better. I can't read. Well, I can read and understand and put it into practical terms, like because I have to do that with my job when I'm reading through operational instructions and stuff. But in terms of like, if someone was going to teach me fly fishing, I couldn't watch a video and be like, oh, I need to do that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I would much prefer somebody to come with me and be like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and stuff. I like tying knots and stuff when I was with the fire brigade. A lot of that was just done by me repeatedly tying, and somebody showed me how to do it. Give me the bunny goes round the thing through the hoop and down the hole, kind of like
Yeah.
saying, and you just practiced it until I could tie the knot with my eyes closed, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I still prefer that way. I like literally the other day, the shower mixer cartridge that I need to replace. I went to my dad. I was like, I've looked online at Screwfix. I've done all the like young kid things, and I've like looked online. I've done this and that. It's like, do you know like a guy that basically I can walk into and he'll have like a load of plumbing stuff and be like, oh yeah, I've got one of those in the back, and I'll just go grab it for you. Here you go. And it's like it's half the price as it would be online because this guy's like, I have the stock. It's already there. I bought it for 6 pence back in old money, and like I much prefer that. And I still ask my dad for things now. I still ask my mum for stuff. Not so
Mm-hmm.
much because I don't do a lot of. My mum's better with the cooking, but like I will go to my dad and be like, I have this problem with this. Like, can you tell me where to go where I can get the part for it? 9 times out of 10, I can take it apart and get to the thing that I need. It's like, tell me, a wise one, where will I go to kind of find the thing that I need, sort of stuff. I still do that, and to an extent, Logan will come to me. I don't think he's quite grasped YouTube for learning. I think he's still very much YouTube is for watching Minecraft videos
Man.
and figuring that out. But at the same time, he's learning how to use redstone by watching YouTube
Yep.
videos
Mm-hmm.
and making pillars and bits and pieces like this. So the the seed is there.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't kind of figured out that for other things going on that he can watch them and learn from that. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's man, the difference between our I don't know if it's generations, but our kids and where we are, where we grew up with, what we had compared to what they'll have in technology is crazy. And then I just like move forward to think like, what in the heavens is our kids gonna have that
oh
they
yeah,
didn't grow up? Like what craziness is that gonna look like? I can't even fathom it. I'm sure they couldn't either. Our parents couldn't fathom like the stuff we were gonna grow up with. But it's just like, I suppose if we could, we'd be millionaires. But it's just like, I can't. I just don't even know. I just don't even know. Like, is it Ready Player One?
giving
Is that where we're at?
well yeah, this is it. We're going to go Percival style. Um, my 2 cents on that is that we're going to hit a plateau again, like we did like a few years ago before like the boom of smartphones and stuff. There'll be a plateau where it doesn't seem to progress too quickly because I think we're going
Maybe.
to be constrained by resource
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
power.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when I say power, it's like I have an understanding of the UK grid system in terms of we don't have much big power. We have lots of small renewable power, but we don't have much big power. And data centers alone for running AI need huge amounts of power to
Mm-hmm.
run without it, the computing power.
Oh,
And
I'm
then you
already
look
seeing
at
a lot of articles pop up about Facebook, Google wrecking, Amazon wrecking like our rural land with these 50,000 square foot data centers that are sucking up all the water and trashing the environment. And so I've seen a lot of those articles pop up in the last couple of years.
yeah. So that's where we will begin to struggle because I know for where I work, there's if we will want to put like a hyperscaler, is it a hyperscaler data center, which is like a gigabyte data center in, we'd need a specific type of transformer, and the lead time to make the transformers in like 6 years or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to source. So there is only going to be a part. I read the article about Microsoft that bought 3 Mile Island in America because they wanted to invest loads of
Mm-hmm.
money, get it going again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
nuclear side that already
Yeah.
had a bit of an excursion. Um, get that going again to solely power data centers. So it's that I think that's going to be our limiting source in terms of the computing power behind it. But then you look at things like can't remember which company it is now, but they've like created the quantum car, haven't they? In
Mm-hmm.
terms of like for power and computing power. So
Yep.
where we would need a giant data center to do to do these tasks. They had this tiny little chip that kind of did all those tasks plus 6 million other ones in a fraction of the time. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is interesting to think about what my kids see now compared to what I saw and what I did, and some of it I'm really excited that Noah gets to be a part of, and Noah's like on the cusp of this thing, and some stuff it really makes me worry. Like I don't know, I kind of like I don't know, we're pretty I guess conservative would be the right word when it comes to social media. Like our kids aren't on it. They're not on YouTube at the moment. They're not on Facebook or any of the things. I mean, by law, if you follow their terms of agreement, they're not supposed to be until they're 13. I don't know if anybody actually follows that. It doesn't
yeah,
seem like it, but yeah. So it's very interesting. And how do you parent that stuff, right, when you didn't grow up with it at all? I think all that stuff is very interesting.
um, I usually turn around and say they have an age limit for a reason because they know that you need to be a certain age to have an X account because the stuff that you see on there is unfiltered. Oh. is very easy to unfilter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No.
when you try and sign up when you're 12 years old and they say, You're not old enough to be on here,"
Mm-hmm.
that's the exact reason. It's like when you were trying to buy booze as a kid. I know in the UK it's like legal drinking age is 18, where for you guys it's 21, but
Mm-hmm.
it's that for a reason, is that you're not deemed to be um not experienced enough, but emotionally there and available
Mm-hmm.
and able to handle the things that you're going to be seeing until you're at that age. And
Yeah.
that's that. And it's true. If you can go on to like TikTok or YouTube shorts or lives and stuff like that, and you can see a guy get assassinated basically, and you can see it as the bullet passes through him, and everything in that detail, I would not want I yeah, I wouldn't want Emily. She's 13 years old. I wouldn't want Emily to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Jaya is going down the criminology route anyway with her education, so she will see that kind of stuff. And I don't want Logan to see that. I struggle now when Logan's playing like Roblox and he's in a first person shooter thing in Roblox, because they're getting more and more creative with the things that are in there. I said that during the day because I saw him on one and I was like, I'm not really happy with you playing that. He's like, yeah, but it's a bit like Fortnite. So no, it's not. It's a bit too detailed than Fortnite. Fortnite is
Mm-hmm.
like, pew pew, and there's not, people aren't bleeding, and there's
Yeah.
not that formulation of, and people aren't being, it doesn't say you were killed. It says you've been eliminated. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the terminology of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Streaming, social
I like how
media,
we've gone from like,
phones, internet.
I like, I like how we've gone from talking about the generational gap in terms of technology to how we then feel about managing children on social media.
Well, but I
So
mean
it
that's
was
all
a good,
part of it, right? Like I mean that's what we're
yeah.
that's all part of like yes, there's this gap. It's huge. Like our video games were 8-bit. They don't even give a bit. They don't even give a bit amount anymore. I don't even know if bits are a thing. I don't even know how that works.
Everything's measured in frames per second now.
Seems to be, yeah, frames per second and Ks. How many Ks you got? What's your K number? You K or P? Because if you're just a P, then you suck. You better be a K. Pretty soon we're going to be like, what? We're already in 8K if you want to spend the money for it. So, before you know it, we're going to be talking 16K probably or something like that.
Oh, this seems to be doubling. So 1632.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember the PlayStation when that came out, 124. That was like
Mm-hmm.
creme de la creme of the gaming era for us. And it kind of
Yeah.
sat there for a while as well.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, right? Like that's the thing as parents is you have to be very vigilant about not just like, oh, how neat this is, or wow, they can help me figure this out, but like, what does it mean for your kiddo? Like, they watched you grow up with a phone. They grew up watching you be on an iPhone, pretty much. So what does that
Mm.
mean for them? You didn't watch your parents on an iPhone. That wasn't
No.
something, that you ever watched them be on or have or do a thing with. And it's like they watched us ask that person all those things, right? Like and so those all have repercussions. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them neutral. But it's like how do they affect your kiddo and what does it mean? And how do you best
Yeah.
parent through it? You're
I mean,
go ahead, sorry.
the whole home assistant thing is driving me mad at the moment, because like we use it as in a, like if we're cooking tea and we're in the kitchen, the kids are upstairs, third floor. I don't like the shouting through the house. Yeah, kid, your tea's ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like we'll say, hey, home assistant, can you announce that dinner is ready? And it like plays a dinner bell sound on the other ones in all the different rooms. The kids come down. But like if Logan doesn't quite catch what that is because he's got headphones on,
Mm-hmm.
he will then start a conversation through the announcement, just back and forth and
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. And it's like, just come downstairs. If my mum shouted me, I would always go to her, because I knew if I shouted back through the house,
Mm-hmm.
I was in trouble. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we would talk about
nine
that.
nine
Don't
times
tell
out
me
of ten,
what. Just come here. You heard my voice. Come here. Don't tell me what. What? I
yeah,
don't need that. Just come in.
No.
Yeah. I installed
And it's
I lived in the basement of one of our homes and I was lazy and I didn't want to come upstairs. I installed an intercom system, Sean. I found one at Goodwill like for basically nothing. And I ran the wire through the ducting up to the top, up to the living room, so that I could then just push a button and be like, "Hey, what's up there? Are you watching a TV? Is dinner ready? Blah blah blah." Yeah, that's what I did when I was like in high school.
wow. If I did that, my mum wouldn't even she wouldn't have spoken to me. Like if I shouted her, she wouldn't come to me. Like if I like now, if Logan was to shout me, I would go to him.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't come to me. Really. But I remember as a kid, if I needed my mum for something and I would like shower, she wouldn't come to me. She'd be like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, well, I kind of want you. And then it's like, nope, I've got to go to you first. but yeah, it's just it's crazy.
It is.
There was something else I was going to say, but it's completely gone now. Just got distracted by Emily coming out of the bedroom. No, it's gone, completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of been an important point I was going to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nope,
I think it's an interesting topic, and there's a million we could probably spend 6 dad life episodes on this topic, to be honest, and you break down each of these things.
I think it's helpful in a sense as well because, and this is just like my last point I'm going to make because I know we're going a bit long with this. From a gaming point of view, like we totally get as gamers and as parents because we've kind of grown into this live multiplayer kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We know that like if we're going to shut the kids for something, we know it's not a can you come here now if they're playing something that's online.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hey look, we need to leave in like 10-15 minutes, so if your game's finished, like turn it off, don't start another one because I know it's going to go longer than the time. And we have that understanding.
Yeah.
Where like some parents may not because they're either not in it, not grown up with it, or they're of an older generation where they kind of can't understand why you can't pause your video game because you might pause the screen for you, but everyone else is still doing what they're doing.
Yeah. 100%. Kudos to Grounded, by the way, because that used to be a thing with Grounded, no matter whether you chose single player or online, and now it's not if you choose single player. So I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the new Grounded 2.
The beauty of offline
play. Dude, they understand the difference, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Also, shooting somebody when we were a kid didn't mean much. I'll stop here, but it was like you didn't see. It was like one little pixel shot 3 little pixels, and then those pixels disappeared, and maybe a little 1 pixel of blood, and that was what that looked like. And now it looks totally different.
It's very brutal.
Yeah,
very brutal.
So, anyways, that'll be it for me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we could go on for ages. It's just so much, like even like the size of microwaves, air fryers. If you want to talk about that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, microwaves have always been around. I don't know. Microwaves been around since I was a kid, but
yeah, but the size of them has gotten smaller, and the power output for them has increased. So, but yeah, there's just so much. There's so much you could go into. But yeah, so if we've missed any points, like technological gaps that you've had the interesting conversations. I have the interesting conversation with Logan all the time around Super Mario when I say, I used to play Mario when I was a kid, and he's like, oh, which one? Super Mario 3D? Oh, no, we like the old Super Marios. Old Mario. So like I have that conversation with him quite often that you can't call it old Mario because I'm not old yet. But yeah. So if you have any examples of technical gaps, jokes that you have with your kids and stuff like that, then feel free to reach out to us in all the bits that are going to come at the end of this. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you very much for listening, and see you all later.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott. You can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.